Welcome to the Neurodiverse Lens, a CDL podcast.
Welcome back to the Neurodiverse Lens, the podcast where we explore many ways neurodiversity shapes our homes, schools, workplaces, and communities. My name is Jordan. I'm the communications manager here at CDL, and today we're joined by Olivia Fong. She is our social emotional program manager here at the Center for Diverse Learners. Olivia has dedicated her career to supporting children and youth through social emotional programming that helps build confidence, resilience, and meaningful connections. In this episode, we'll dive into the role that social emotional learning plays in supporting neurodiverse learners, explore what our programs look like behind the scenes at CDL, and share strategies that parents and educators can use to foster these skills in everyday life. Olivia, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad that you're here with us today. I'm going to go, I just want to ask a few questions about your, just to get to know you a little bit. I know you very well, but I want the audience to get to know you. So Olivia, can you tell us a little about your journey and what brought you into your role as our social emotional program manager at CDL?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually started off volunteering about 5 years ago with the Center for Diverse Learners. I was volunteering in one of our programs that we offer, one of the social well-being programs. And from there, while I was pursuing my college diploma, I just didn't really want to leave. I loved connecting with the kids. I was learning so much, and I was able to apply what I was learning at school, like right in the moment with programming. And as more opportunities came up within the organization, I just didn't really want to venture out because I saw all the great work that like the program offered, but just the whole organization.
That sounds a lot like how my story started at CDL's. Just the once I started, they couldn't get rid of me.
Yeah, literally, that's what I tell people.
So why is social emotional learning so vital, especially for the neurodiverse children and youth and possibly their parents and caregivers, so important?
Yeah, so this avenue of learning is so important because it's not just about like academic success. These are skills and our teachings that apply to making friends. It applies to your confidence and your self-esteem, and just as you finish school, it's all about like how prepared do you feel to go into post-secondary or to get a job one day. So it affects us in like all aspects of our life, and it's really important to learn about it and to be able to like teach it too.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to get into it a bit later, but talking about the programs that we offer at CDL that are around social emotional learning, I feel like if I had these programs when I was a kid, not that I don't view myself as successful, but I think I would have had a lot more confidence bringing myself through my life stages, going through all the waves of life. So, what does social emotional learning look like in practice for neurodiverse kids?
Yeah, sometimes, to be honest, it can look a little bit messy because we don't know what we're doing when we're socializing and exploring different social emotional skills. There's no one correct way to socialize. We know that everybody's got their strengths. We know that everybody's got their preference, right? So it can look a little bit messy as we try new things, but through that mess comes like this beautiful like picture almost when they do feel confident to go and make new friends at school or even within our programs. It's really exciting at the end to see everybody like trying to exchange gamer tags and like Snapchat, and even just with our younger kids being like, Mom, can you give this mom your phone number so that we can have play dates? Like it all comes together beautifully, and it's really exciting to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite takeaway from Friendship Club last summer was the, Mom, can I hang out with Johnny next week? Knowing that our programs were ending and that they were still literally going to be friends afterwards. Do you, can you talk about any of the challenges that families and students might face while building these skills?
Yeah, sometimes it can be really tricky because For students, they spend most of their time at school, where parents have to just hear what teachers and EAs and support staff notice. They aren't always getting the same opportunities to observe their kids. So they might say, well, when they go to karate, this doesn't seem to be an issue, or the exact opposite. They do really well at school, or there's no concerns at school, but they see it at home or in those extracurriculars.
Yeah, I feel like, does that have anything to do with maybe like a lack of structure, I guess, and like more the academic sense? It's like, okay, we know that the day is going to start with math, then we're going to go into English, but then it's like you go after school to soccer. You don't really know how that coach is going to, lay out the soccer practice every single time, right? So I don't know, would that have an impact on it?
Yeah, a little bit. And I guess that kind of goes with what I was saying earlier. There's no one correct way to socialize. And if you're a little bit more introverted and you can socialize, no problem, as long as somebody else starts the conversation or initiates, then, you can see the strengths in that. And other times it's really easy to be outgoing, but you can kind of dominate the conversation. And if you're with somebody who is a little bit more shy or reserved, it's this like balancing act of like give and take in conversation, and even just like wanting to go with the flow.
Yeah. Are you able to kind of explain to our listeners, I guess, maybe some comparisons of what these situations might look like for a neurotypical student or child versus someone who is neurodiverse?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we hear this advice all the time as kids, where it's, oh, just go up to that kid and ask if they want to play with them, right? And for some, whether you're neurotypical or neurodiverse, it is really easy to just go up to somebody on the playground and say, like, hey, we're playing grounders. Do you want to play with me? And for some, it's really hard to initiate that because of that fear of rejection, that fear of, no, I don't want to play. I've already got plans to be with my friends. We're doing this instead, right? So it's like, cool, that's amazing. You went out and you made an effort, but that rejection can be like, well, why try again? What if everybody rejects me every time because they've already got their circle of friends and I don't?
It's that classic, like, we only need 4 players.
We only need 4 players, or it could be like, I don't want to be that person who gets picked last.
Yeah.
Right? In some of those games, it could also be just, oh my goodness, they already seem so close. How am I ever going to catch up to that relationship level that everybody else has?
Yeah. And honestly, looking back even to when, like, I was a child, like, I had 2 other best friends, and we would constantly run around the playground playing Powerpuff Girls, and there's no room for a 4th Powerpuff Girl unless you're going to be Mojo Jojo, and then you're the bad guy. So I kind of just look back and I guess think maybe when the time comes and I have my own family, how I'm going to have those conversations with my kids on how to be more inclusive for students who, struggle with those scenarios too. I also kind of wanted to talk today about our programs that we offer at CDL. Are you able to walk us through some of the SEL programs that CDL offers?
Yeah, I don't know where I should start. I guess I'll start with our friendships and relationships program, I guess, because that's actually where I started with volunteering. So that's the program that I can really, really speak to. So with our social skills, friendships, and relationships program, it's all about like learning the communication skills, starting conversations, joining conversations that have already begun, because those are very intimidating. Even as an adult, it's like, okay, when's that perfect pause to like jump right in and introduce myself, right? We explore like the levels of friendship. Just because you've hung out with somebody once for 20 minutes at the park, like, are you best friends?
Right.
Or are you just peers getting to know each other? We also explore like social norms. I've said it a couple of times now, right? There's no one correct way, but there are certain unwritten social rules that we have in society that can be really challenging to navigate because it's more of a gray area, and sometimes we can be very black and white in our thinking. And it's all about like interactive play. So when we have students join us for this program, we are playing games, we're doing arts and crafts, we're really trying to boost that self-esteem and the confidence to initiate and to give even just like a simple try of introducing yourself to a new kid at school or even within our program. So that's friendships and relationships. We have our social skills executive functioning program. This is a program I would have loved to have had in high school. I think it would have made my marks just that much better. So that's all about like time management and planning, prioritization. And I love this program because that is a really great program for like the life skills. A lot of the time, people come to us looking for just like academic support, and it's like, well, you know, sometimes when we complain about our kids have such messy rooms, that could just be task initiation. When the room gets so messy, where do I even begin? Like, what's the first step of making my room like clean to mom and dad's standards, right? But we also explore understanding IEPs and how to advocate for yourself in the classroom, right? Making sure that any accommodations you have are being followed and adhered to, but also like that tricky, how do I ask without coming across as like too pushy, right? Or coming across as like a know-it-all, or that I need like extra help. So that's a really, really great one too. So every week it's one different executive functioning skill, and then just multiple different strategies to like support that skill set, because we all know like we all have different learning profiles. Some are visual learners, some are auditory. So by only giving one strategy and hoping it works for every student learning profile is unrealistic. So it's really great. And then we've also got our homework health program. Absolutely going to plug that since that launches this week for the school year. So that is our drop-in homework program. So students in high school can come access free tutoring support. They can get help with their homework. They can get that support with things like executive functioning, or even just like essay writing, right? Like mapping out what that assignment needs to look like. And then the second half of that program, students can stick around for a free mental health workshop. So those workshops are around building resiliency, understanding how neurodiversity and mental health supports can look a little bit different, the ways that we support ourselves and the way that we can advocate for ourselves. And that one's a really great one. It's one of our newest programs. So it's really nice to be able to provide like homework help and mental health support all in one, because we know that our mental health can take a little bit of a hit, or have like an impact when we're not doing well in high school, especially as we get into those like grade 11 and 12. It's, what do you want to do? Are you going to college? Are you going to university? Like when you hear all of that, and it's just nice knowing that we've got somewhere to provide students just like a safe place to even hang out. If they don't want to do homework, but they're not ready to go home yet, or they just want to kill time, we want to be that safe and inclusive place for them to be.
Our homework health program has 4 locations across Hamilton and Halton. So if anyone listening is interested and they want to learn more, you can visit our website, diverselearners.ca, click on the programs tab, and you can read and learn all about our homework health program. So these 3 programs are all offered throughout the academic school year, but we also have our friendship club program as well that we, I guess, piloted last summer, came back to this summer. And now we have some exciting news for the upcoming year.
Absolutely, we do. Can I share it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Friendship Club is something that we offered typically during the summers. It is a drop-in program for grades 2 to 8, just to explore some of those same skills that we learned in the friendships and relationships program. But it's a little less structured. We want kids to be able to navigate through the activity stations that we have. But we are so fortunate to be able to offer it this school year on certain PA days, starting in October. So just another really great way for kids to connect with each other and have somewhere to go on those PD days that are coming up this year. So I'm very excited that we're able to expand it, because we saw just so many really great connections get made in the program. We saw students really come out of their shells, and just like it was it
honestly was such a good summer.
It was it was like the highlight of my week. For sure.
It was loud, but it was great. Is there a story or a moment that stands out to you where you saw the real impact of our programming on one of our students over like either the summer or the last year or so?
Yeah, so I think back to one of our students that we had this summer join us for Friendship Club, going from really only wanting to connect with their like group leader the entire time and only ever going towards our infamous Lego off ramp. And they joined us every week. I think there was 1 week of Friendship Club that they missed, but halfway through, just all of a sudden inviting other kids to play and build things with Lego, or even be open to some of the other stations like headbands. Like they just, it was so exciting to see them initiate connection with their peers.
Yeah.
So there's that one. And I always think back to somebody else in our friendships and relationships program. When I first got to meet them, it was virtual and they hid under the computer desk. They didn't want to talk to me. They were so nervous.
Yeah.
Parent and I didn't think that they were going to be ready to join us in the program. Showed up that first week, very nervous, only made it halfway through. But by the end of the 8 weeks, their confidence had gone up so much, they actually like signed up to be in their holiday talent show.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they did a whole singing number by themselves on stage for the holidays.
I love that.
And this is somebody who hid under a desk first meeting me, right?
Yeah.
So I know that this program is definitely about like connecting with other people, but to see like confidence grow that much in 8 weeks, I could probably like tear up now, honestly. He's redone the program like 2 or 3 times just because he wants to talk about his positive experience in the program. So yeah, those two are like the ones I always talk about because they're my faves.
Well, I'm hoping that you can also share those testimonials with me so I can keep sharing them on
for sure.
Social media, because I know our followers love seeing those success stories. But I just want to take a quick moment to remind our listeners that CDL is a registered nonprofit supporting neurodiverse children and youth and their families all across Hamilton and Halton and beyond. Right now, we do have students waiting to access our programs, and our listeners can help. By becoming a monthly donor, your support goes directly to removing those financial barriers. So for just $1.40 a day or $42 a month, that will actually take a child off of our wait list and give them access to the tools, programs, and encouragement they need to thrive. If you'd like to make a difference today, please visit diverselearners.ca and click donate. The button should be in the top right-hand corner of your screen. But yeah, together we can create a community where every learner has a chance to succeed. Our wait lists are pretty full right now.
Yeah, I'm already mapping out winter.
Yeah, so we're always looking for new supporters, new donors. We always share our testimonials with our donors. You can get a chance to really get a behind the scenes look into what your donation is doing for the children that are in our programs. But yeah, I just wanted to plug that in our episode just for our listeners who are looking to make a difference. If you don't have the means to donate, you can always volunteer. You can share our posts on social media. You can follow the podcast. But yeah, and just before we wrap things up, I really want to talk about some practical takeaways for our families and educators who might be listening to this podcast. So, Olivia, are there, 2 or 3 things that parents could do at home that might better support their child's social emotional growth?
Yeah. I always love recommending that you model what you expect or what the productive or like positive behavior is. So if you have a little one at home who really struggles with navigating their emotions, when you're feeling a big emotion, like vocalize it. Say, oh, I'm feeling really angry right now. I just noticed how my fists are clenched up and my face is really hot. Because when you're kind of showing them and modeling that, kids are very observant, right? We all are, but kids are especially observant and really want to learn. And one of the best ways to do that is to be a positive example. So that's definitely something I would recommend. Yeah. but also like put yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable too. Because that's growth, right? We can't grow and learn as a person without being a little uncomfortable at times. And if we're always comfortable, then our kids are going to think that that's what we should always be striving for. So it could be something uncomfortable like, for me, for example, I don't really like touching raw chicken when I'm cooking, right? I don't like it, not a big fan. But as I've got my little one, I want to model that, like, sometimes you do things that make you uncomfortable because you come out better for it. So I won't put my gloves on. I will wash the chicken with my clean hands instead of gloves on. But yeah, those are two things I would definitely recommend. Just modeling what you want to see them be able to do.
Maybe you should cook chicken at my house because I still wear gloves.
No, I usually do. I usually do.
I can't.
Every now and then. It's usually when I'm out of gloves.
Also wears gloves, so he didn't. It's his fault. It's my dad's fault. Are there ways that teachers and schools could better integrate SEL practices for the neurodiverse students in their schools?
That's a great question. Yeah. Provide extra activities for it, right? If you've got gym class or if you've got like indoor recess, don't force anybody to participate in the activities, but provide it as like an extra off-ramp or an extra option. I know as we get older, we're not always a fan of group work, but trying to initiate like group opportunities to work together on like the academics, but also just creating fun projects, leaning into their interests, and giving like positive reinforcement. When you see somebody step out of their comfort zone and try something hard, even if it doesn't go the way they wanted to, or it was an unsuccessful attempt, they made an attempt. And that can be really, really hard to do in the first place. So sharing and saying, I'm so proud of you, like next time we're going to do that much better. That's what practice is. Because truly, like the self-esteem and confidence boost is where we'll see just them initiate wanting to be around other people and coming out of their shell and feeling more comfortable.
Yeah, I had one of our educators who works with us at CDL is also a teacher full time, and he split his class into groups based on his choice. And they did a group assignment or a group project on their hall pass placards. So they had to create a background story, character development for each placard. So each student had a role of like creating their job. What do they do? Who's in their family? What's their background? Everything like that. And it's just like projects like that you know, don't really have they have the group components, but it's just so creative and
just fun.
Different. Yeah, it's just fun. It's funny.
Sometimes that's all they need or all we need.
Yeah, exactly. And then just one more plug. If you are in Halton, you can access our resource calls completely for free. So you can go on our website and click the parent support appointment button. And Halton families, you have this resource completely for free. But Olivia, did you have any other resources that you might want to recommend to families that want to learn more or create a better environment?
I would definitely recommend any of our virtual workshops that you put together for us. Those, I come into them like as an educator, but they're just, I mean, there hasn't been a bad one. They've all just been really helpful. I end up leaving them like with a new piece of information every time. Signing your kids up for volunteering, definitely those resource calls, like you said. And then just reaching out to us in case you don't find them, because chances are like, you know, I could probably list like 15, but that's going to be a whole podcast episode in itself.
So always, if you are looking for extra resources, you can send us an email at info@diverselearners.ca. If you're a Halton family, you can always book a resource call with us. You can attend our monthly workshops. But yeah, we are always here to help. We have a great staff team with a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. And then just, I have one last question for you, Olivia. What are your hopes for the future of our social emotional learning or social emotional programming at CDL?
Yeah, I hope to continue expanding into programming for teens and young adults, but I'm really hoping in the next little while to be able to provide supports for adults.
Yeah.
I know it can be really challenging to find neurodiverse friendly programs as an adult, as somebody who's like trying to navigate it for myself. So being able to be that resource for people would be like a really big highlight for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we get asked all the time about adult programming, so I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
I really hope that's something that we can bring to you guys very shortly. But Olivia, thank you so much for sharing your insights and passion with us today. Social emotional learning is such a critical piece of the puzzle for neurodiverse students, and your work at CDL is truly making an impact. So I just want to thank you. We are a great team, by the way. I just gotta say. And to our listeners, again, if you want to support our work, you want to take a child off of one of our wait lists, I do suggest, checking out our monthly donor page on our website. That's just $42 a month or $1.40 a day, and that can directly take a student off of our wait list and place them in one of our programs. So that is all for today's episode of the Neurodiverse Lens.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you coming on, talking about stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, because I'm so happy I did it though.
So yeah, so until next time, let's continue to celebrate every learner's unique strengths and build a community where all minds can thrive.
Thank you for listening to the Neurodiverse Lens, a CDL podcast. For more information, visit diverselearners.ca.